Thank you, Dimitri, for a really full story. I don't think I have anything else to say. Thank you so much. And thank you to the Hellenic Board of Trade for this honor, which I accept with pride and humility on behalf of my family. I can't begin to tell you how deeply touched I am that so many of you would remember my father 30 years after his passing. I have to admit, only by his persona, the guy is hard to forget, even if you tried. My father made waves in the shipping world and wherever he went. These waves reverberated locally and internationally. Sometimes they even reached home. His accomplishments were so many. Oh yes, when I say they reached home, you should have seen how high they could become, like tsunamis. His accomplishments were so many that I will spare you the list, but I remember in the late 60s when he kept all 5 Canadian shipyards busy. I will only say that with his creativity, vision, and determination, he built not only a shipping company, but a tradition which is kept alive today thanks to my brilliant, educated, and energetic brother Basil, who not only has been steady at the helm since 1981, but under whose watch our father's creation has known an incredible expansion, regardless of the vicissitudes and sometimes deadly cycles of our industry. I would like to share with you a few secrets about my father. Being part of his family was a real challenge, and on a daily basis. We always teased him and told him he had so many children that sometimes he couldn't think of our names, so he whistled. My cue was 2 whistles, and let me tell you, I came running. And this came from the same guy who sent us to Europe when we were very small children to make sure we knew about the Mona Lisa, the Venus de Milo, the Victoire de Samothrace, the Night Watch, and to make sure we knew about opera. In raising us, he was very focused on the important things, and in retrospect, I realize now what a loving man he was in his own way. I now see what a humble man he also was, always seeking to be loved, so vulnerable to some of his painful childhood memories, never bragging or even taking credit for all he did for his native land. The hospitals, the churches he built, the medical doctors he sent for many years, the 3-story youth center, the libraries, the many dowries he gave to young women of his village, that was really cute. The sewing machines he bought for the nuns, the installations needed to bring drinking water to Ipiros, the village of his ancestors, and that's just to name a few. As for the Greek community here in Montreal, the energy, time, effort, and money he put in were never measured, and he did it with joy. Some of you might still remember when he bought the land to build St. George's Cathedral on Coates and Catherine Road, the Greek library he gave to McGill. In 1962, $40,000 worth of books was a lot of money, and the salary he paid to the professor of Université de Montréal to teach modern Greek. And I'm not talking about all the other cultural institutions he supported for so many years. So far, the sweetest recognition, aside from the Order of Canada and a few medals from the Greek government, which he got, came from Melina Mercouri, then Minister of Culture, when she came to Ottawa in the early 80s and signed a cultural agreement with our own Minister of Culture. She asked for the chair of Greek and Canadian Studies at McGill to be named the Phrixos B. Papachristidis Chair in recognition of all this man had done for his native land. Excuse me, I have something in my throat. As we speak, a very small tanker called the Hellespont Chieftain, our last acquisition, is transiting through the locks in St. Lambert. Oh, thank you so much. Merci. Yes, our last acquisition is transiting through the locks at Saint-Lambert, a very rare occurrence since our ships don't trade in this part of the world anymore. Although I didn't hear 2 whistles, I definitely took this as my cue to salute the 3rd generation in our family. All brilliant, educated, and hard-working young people, and all on their way to making their own mark in the world. And some of them already have, and 3 of them are here tonight. I would like to salute them. Marie Lafleur, where are you? Up, please. Up, please. Marie Lafleur is partner at the law firm Martineau, Fasken Martineau. Would you end this for me? Dumoulin, I'm sorry. Then there is Luc Vachon, recently named Vice President at the Royal Bank. Luc, would you? Je te salue, Luc, et j'en profite pour saluer la famille de ma mère, dont ton père est le frère. And, of course, Basil Papavangelou, who is part of a very dynamic team also at the Royal Bank. A warm addendum here, how happy I am to see the RBC in force, represented by Tony Lafreda. Tony. As if we didn't know you yet. You may not know it, but my father's North American success was inextricably involved with the Royal Bank, through thick and thin, and there was more thick than thin, thank goodness. So you guys have come full circle tonight. I thank you all. I had a little poem. My father had persuasive powers, and he lost very few battles. And when he did, they were just arguments. And he always said a little poem when he lost, tongue-in-cheek, and he had us learn it by heart when we were children. Sometimes when you're feeling important, sometimes when your ego's in bloom, sometimes when you take it for granted you're the best qualified in the room, sometimes when you feel that your leaving would leave an unfillable hole, just follow these simple instructions and see how they humble your soul. Take a bucket and fill it with water. Put your hand in it up to the wrist, pull it out, and the hole that's remaining is a measure of how you'll be missed. You can splash all you want as you enter. You may stir up the water galore, but stop, and you'll find that in no time it looks quite the same as before. The moral of this quaint example is do just the best that you can. Be proud of yourself, but remember, there is no indispensable man. That was my father's. That was my father's last of the last arguments. But the most important thing my father left me as his child was his joy of life. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for everything else, of course, but that is very special. And I thank you for this honor. I'm very happy, very pleased, very touched, and I will tell my family about it. Thank you.